Hi, this is Karthik from Design School by Wpalgoridm. I'm a web developer and a WordPress blogger. I make WordPress and Elementor tutorials for beginners. And in this video, I just want to discuss about the ACF Pro's repeater field. Well, repeater field is one of the complex fields in ACF, and even with Elementor Pro you cannot handle it, but with dynamic content plugin you can actually design a template and show the repeater fields in the form of a visual template that you can design with dynamic content plugin and Elementor, of course. So in this video we'll discuss how you can create a repeater field, what exactly is a repeater field, and then we'll discuss how you can use those repeater field data to display a template using Elementor and dynamic content plugin. And repeater field requires you to have ACF Pro. You can get advanced custom fields pro from the official website. Link to that will be in the description. Without wasting any time, let's see how to work with the ACF Pro's repeater fields. So once you download and install advanced custom fields pro, it is self-sufficient. You don't need to have the free version of advanced custom fields if you have the pro version. I'm actually rocking advanced custom fields 5.9 beta 1. Anyway, so what exactly are repeater fields? I'll just create a new group. I'll just call it test, and I'll click on add field. I'll just call it depay or whatever, right? And the field type, so once you install the pro version, under layout you find new fields called repeater, flexible content and clone. We'll get to flexible content and clone in other videos, but we'll focus our attention on this repeater field. I'll just click on repeater. Well, what exactly is a repeater? As the name suggests, you can have set of data that repeat when and how the user wants. Now what can you have within this repeater field? Well, basically any other field. You can even have another repeater inside this repeater field, but why would you use this? So let's say you're building a food blog and you want details of every ingredient, so maybe in ounces or in grams, right? You want to mention, and you don't want to add these details or you don't want to hard code the ingredients, right? So you can simply have a repeater field with a common structure and let it repeat itself. So that's how repeater field is used. I'll show you that in a bit. So I chose repeater from here. As I said, it can repeat any set of data. We'll start with the basic. So I'll just repeat, or I'll have a list of 3 emails. So I'll just call this email, and the field name is also email. I'll click on field type and I'll choose email, and that's it. Now within each repeater field, this email will be repeated, and you can choose when the row is collapsed. I want to show my email. You can also specify minimum rows and maximum rows. If you don't specify that, they'll be infinite in number. And you can specify the layout. It can be a table, it can be a block, it can be a row, but anyway we'll just settle with table for now. We'll see how that looks like. I'll edit and I'll click, and of course the location settings will just set it to post. I'll hit publish. Now I'll just compose a new post, and this is the Gutenberg interface. I'll call it another post, or I'll just call it another ACF post. Will not focus much on Gutenberg content either, and you can see that this has our email label. Now you can simply click on add row, and that adds the first row. All you can enter is email, so I can say me@mail.com. If you want to enter another email, just click on add row. I'll say you@mail.com. Want another row? You can also remove the row that you have added as @mail.com. Now the way in which you retrieve these repeater fields is a bit tricky, and I'll show you how that works. So this is our post. I'll just publish this. I'll hit publish, and we'll just edit with Elementor. You'll obviously define these repeater fields as a part of your theme template. Maybe you can design a theme template using dynamic content plugin and make these repeater fields a part of the template. But anyway, so we're in the Elementor interface. Now you can obviously pull these repeater fields using ACF's dynamic widgets. Now they have a lot of widgets here, and you can see there's one for ACF relationship field, which I've shown you earlier. There's one for ACF repeater. We'll get to ACF repeater in a bit. Obviously that's the way in which you can work with the repeater data, but I'll just drag in ACF normal fields widget. I'll try to choose the repeater field that we've created, which is this one, and it shows the type of field, and when I click on it, it shows that it's an array. That's because it's returning multiple values, and this is not possible to process these values in the standard way, and that's the reason why they have ACF repeater widget for dynamic content plugin. Anyway, how can you retrieve this using normal Elementor widgets? Is it not possible? Yes, it is. I just dragged in my heading widget, and you need to click on dynamic tags, and all you need are the dynamic tokens generated by the dynamic content plugin. So I'll just click on token again. I don't know the token. I'll just use wizard mode, and here there's a section for ACF. I'll just click on that, and I'll just enter the name, which is this. So once you choose that field, it's basically going to give you the row or the list of the items just like that in a single line. If that's what you want, that's really great, right? So you're retrieving all the data. I entered 3 emails into this post, and it gives me all 3 emails, although they're not formatted properly. But this is how a basic retrieving of the repeater fields is done. You can use any other widget that supports text. So maybe in the button widget, again for text, you can click here and use dynamic token, click on token again, wizard mode, and you can retrieve this field. But what it essentially gives is all the data within that particular repeater field. But we want to get separate data so that we can display it in a graphical and user-friendly format. So I'll just remove this. I'll scroll down, and now I'll use ACF repeater. I'll just click and drag it, and I'll just click this, and I'll choose the repeater field. Now it gives us the list of 3 repeater fields, or the 3 repeater data, all the subfields within that, right? So that's really great. You can also filter, right, by entering the row numbers or by entering the range in which you want to show them. So if I say 1, 2, it will only show the first 2 repeater fields and not the third data. If I say 1, 3, it's gonna give first and third one, but not first and second one. So you can filter that, or you can invert the row order. That will swap elements if that's what you're looking for. Now that's when you choose the normal display mode. If you choose HTML, it gives you row, and you can further filter by using the label of the repeater subfield, which is email in our case, right? So if I click on this, and the label is basically email, and also the name is also email. So when you say row colon email, it will get the field that has this name or this label within the row or within the repeater field. Now let's add another item within this repeater field. I'll just click on add field, and this time maybe I'll add a number, and maybe I'll just call it age, right? And that's it. So each row will have the email and also the age field. I'll just hit update. I'll click on this hamburger menu. I'll just click on exit to dashboard so that we can enter the Gutenberg interface and enter the other data, and you can see that email data is filled. Let's also fill the age, maybe 24 for this, 25 for this, and 28 for this. I'll update. Now that's updated. Let's go back to Elementor interface. Since we've added the data in the Gutenberg interface, we can process that in Elementor interface. Now I'm actually doing it manually, but with dynamic content plugin template system, you can design a template for a single post and make these repeater fields a part of your template. I'll show you that in a bit, but anyway, we're just manually editing the post. Now we have other field called age. So if I say age, it gives me age. I can use standard HTML. So I can say h3 and within this I can just have the token. I'll copy the token, I'll paste it, and instead of age maybe I'll say email. That's great. So if you want some basic HTML formatting, this is great, right? So you can simply enter the row which gets the whole repeater data, and with the token you can get just the fields that you need or just the data that you need. Since I said age, it just pulls the age, and when I said email, it's pulling the email data and it's showing in h3, and this is inline CSS that I've added. You can add anything, but this is if you are comfortable with writing code. Since we're using dynamic content plugin, we want to do it without writing code or without writing any HTML, and we can do it. So this is my repeater field, and these are the subfields: email, number, and number. Now I'll just design a template that will pull the dynamic data for each of the repeater row. So I'll say it can be a page or a section template. I'll just call it ACF loop. I'll just click on create template. So we'll just click on the actual page, and here we must be able to pick the template. So the template generated should give us our data. Well, how can you do this? Well, the answer is simple: by using tokens. So I'll create a new section on this page, give it a minimum height. I'll not waste much time showing you what to do. I'll just give it a background color of maybe blue, and I'll just click on the plus button. I'll drag heading widget over here. I'll align it onto the center. Now I'll just click on dynamic tokens, scroll down and click on token. I'll click on token again, and the token you want to enter is ACF colon and the name of the field. The name of the field I want to pull first is called email. So I'll just say email. So that will pull in all the email into this field, and I'll duplicate this row, click this, and instead of email this time I'll add another token which is number. So this is the loop template that we designed for the repeater field. So instead of writing HTML to format our data, we'll just use this template. So I'll publish this, I'll update this. This data is getting individual loop items using dynamic tokens, and the token is ACF colon number. You can actually refer to Dynamics documentation where they've specified various tokens to use. So I'll just use ACF number and ACF email, and the widget I'll use heading widget. I'll also reload this page because this is a newly created page and this may not be aware of this loop that we just created. So once this page reloads, I'll click on the repeater widget again. This time I'll pick template, and the template is ACF loop, and it's this one. I'll just choose that loop, and just like that it gives us email and number, right? You can also add, click on options. Let's give some space between the columns. You can also give space between rows. Row is this one, and you can move the columns just like that. You can also format the template itself. So maybe I'll click this, I'll change the text color to maybe this one, update the loop, and that will be dynamically updated here. I'll also update this, I'll reload. So basically loop is getting each row, or in other words each subfield, and it's displaying all the data in that subfield. And you can see that This loop has the email and the number, and even this loop has the email and the number. Just a little bit buggy over there. We can simply refresh this, and just like that we designed a loop to display our repeated data in a graphical format. And this loop can be anything. You can design as many loops as you want. So let's say I just want to change this loop. I just want to give it a gradient. You can simply update this, and the loop and the design will automatically be updated here, because it's actually getting the loop and getting dynamic data using the tokens, and then it's showing the data. Once the page reloads, you can see the dynamic repeater data formatted in the loop that we just defined. Isn't it cool? You may not see anything while you design the loop, but once you use it on the actual post or page where there's actual repeater loop or repeater data, you'll see those items filled with the data that you entered. And these are the two emails and these are the two numbers I entered for this particular post. Now if you create a new post, again they'll get those data dynamically displayed. In order to make this a part of the design, all we need to do is to just copy this whole section. Now it has all the things that we need. Go to dynamic template system. We'll just design a new template. I'll click on save templates and we'll assign it to the single post. Let's call it ACF repeater template or whatever you want to. I'll create a template for single post. We'll actually make this the design of a single post. So whenever a new post is created using Gutenberg, this will be the design that will be applied. I just copied this section. I'll just paste it. I think the content widget is also required, or it's not required. I'll update this. All this is dynamic, right? So we're not putting anything in there. All this is dynamic, but preview may not be dynamic, but don't worry, it will work flawlessly. So once we've created the template, let's go to the dashboard. We made this a part of our design, and it's getting the loop in the form of the template, and it's displaying the loop data right there. So I'll go back to my dashboard. I'll click on dynamic template system. I'll make this our single post design. I'll click here, and I think it's ACF repeater loop or ACF repeater template. I'll click on save changes. Now let's create a new post with repeater data in it. I'll just click on new post. I'll call it latest loop 1 2 3 whatever. I'll click on add row .com. The second email will be this. I'll just hold down shift key and duplicate this for time being. I'll just duplicate it thrice. I'll change this to 25, change this to 26, something like that. We have, I'll update. Now the post is updated. I can simply view my post, and that will have the design that we have specified in the ACF loop template. Just like that, the repeater data is formatted in the form of loop template that we specified. Easy, right? Now we'll discuss about the nested repeaters in the next video, because this video is already too long. So this is how you work with ACF Pro's repeater field and dynamic content plugin, all by using the visual Elementor interface without writing a single piece of code. If you want to write code, well, you're welcome. You can use that HTML format and do that. And this is how you work with ACF Pro. In the next video, we'll discuss about nested repeaters, where we'll see how you can work with repeaters within repeaters. Anyway, stay tuned for more videos like this. Subscribe if you didn't already. And if you don't have dynamic content plugin, get it from the link in the description down below. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.